In the far corners of the galaxy, many feared the Zelfar Dominion. Their ships were large, their weapons powerful, and their leaders cruel. Planet by planet, they had crushed resistance. No one dared to fight them. No one, until they reached Earth. It all started with a signal. A small science vessel belonging to the Neutral Relay Union picked up a message from deep human space. Broken voices, a scream, then silence. The crew listened again and again. One word was clear. They attacked Earth. They shouldn't have. The relay scientists didn't understand the full message, but they felt fear. They warned the Zelfar. They'd sent a simple message. You have awakened something. Turn back. But the Zelfar laughed. Humans, said High Commander Varnak. They are weak. They talk too much, cry too much. Their bodies are soft. They are not fighters. His officers nodded. None of them had seen Earth's armies. None of them had needed to. For centuries, humans were quiet. They avoided war. They traded peacefully. The galaxy thought humans had moved beyond violence. But they were wrong. The Zelfar sent a fleet to attack a human colony called Eden 4. It was a small world. Peaceful, no soldiers, no weapons. When the ships arrived, the skies burned. The cities fell in hours. Families were taken. Buildings crushed. A message was sent to Earth. This is your first lesson. Obey the Zelfar. The humans did not reply. Not one word. No threat. No anger. Just silence. Commander Varnak waited for fear. For surrender. For begging. He got nothing. Soon after, strange reports came in. One of the attacking fleets disappeared. No distress call. No explosion. No wreckage. Just gone. Malfunction, said Varnak. An accident. Nothing more. But more ships went silent. Listening posts stopped answering. Entire routes through space were now black. Other species began whispering. The humans are moving. They're not talking. They're acting. This is different. Still, the Zelfar didn't listen. They believed they were the strongest. They thought humans were just good at stories, not war. One ambassador from the Trelkin race tried to speak with the Zelfar Council. You don't understand. Earth is not weak. Earth is sleeping. And you woke them up. Varnak laughed. Then we will put them back to sleep. But that night, a message played on every Zelfar screen. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a threat. Just a black screen with white text. We heard you. And then it vanished. No trace. No source. Zelfar hackers searched everywhere. Their best minds couldn't find where the message came from. It had touched every system, every ship, every home. At once. Now the fear began. Commanders argued. Some wanted to retreat. Others wanted to strike Earth directly. But Varnak stood firm. Humans are just trying to scare us, he said. They have no army. They have no power. What he didn't know, what no one knew, was that Earth had been preparing. Quietly, patiently. For decades, they had watched the galaxy grow cruel. They saw the wars, the conquests, the hunger for power. So they built in silence, ships with no names, weapons with no heat signatures, soldiers who never spoke, and minds, artificial minds, that learned how to destroy without being seen. The silence from Earth was not fear. It was planning. Back on the Relay science ship, a young technician looked at her screen. She zoomed in on a dark spot in space, where the Zelfar fleet had been. Nothing remained. Captain, she whispered, they're not attacking. Then what are they doing? The captain asked. She stared at the data. They're erasing. It started with a whisper, then nothing. A Zelfar listening post called Station Cora 9, floating at the edge of human space, suddenly stopped sending data. No warning. No explosion. Just silence. At first, the Zelfar thought it was a system glitch. Reset the relays, a commander barked. They tried. Nothing came back. Then another post went dark. Then another. Whole communication chains vanished one by one. No signals. No wreckage. Just empty space where stations used to be. That's when the fear started to spread. Zelfar High Command gathered. Maps of space filled the room, flashing red dots. Lost stations. Disconnected fleets. Silence growing like a virus. Varnak, still proud, slammed his fist on the table. Cowards hide in the dark. Humans are afraid to face us. But the others were no longer so sure. A scout ship was sent to check on one of the dark zones. 300 crew. Elite soldiers. Advanced scanners. They entered human space. They never returned. No wreckage. No distress signal. Just gone. 1 week later, a message arrived, not from humans, but from a small, scared trader who escaped human space by chance. I saw them. I saw Earth's ships. Describe them, the officer said. The trader shook. No sound. No light. They just appeared, black as the void. How many? One. Only one. But it watched us. Followed us. Did it attack? No, and that's what terrified me. The Zelfar didn't believe him. But across the galaxy, others did. Old species, those who remembered Earth's early wars, began locking their borders. Peaceful worlds stopped trade routes near human space. Merchant guilds erased Earth's name from their star maps, not out of anger, but out of fear, because silence was louder than war. Earth had said nothing. No demands, no claims, no peace offers, just silence. And now even the skies were quiet. Zelfar patrols started changing routes. Some soldiers refused to go near the dead sky. Rumors grew. Earth's using ghost tech. They're building something. They don't need to talk. They're watching. The worst story came from a pirate crew that attacked a human cargo ship near the edge of the void zone. They expected easy loot. Instead, the pirate ship drifted back weeks later. Burned. Broken. Only one survivor. Eyes wide. Mind shattered. He whispered. They didn't fire. They just looked at us. Back on Zelfar Prime, panic finally reached the Senate. Should we offer peace? Someone asked. We didn't even declare war, shouted another. We just attacked one colony. Yes, a voice replied. And now we can't find that colony anymore. Because Eden 4 was gone. Not destroyed. Erased. No life, no buildings, no orbiting debris, no gravity readings. It was as if the planet had never existed. Zelfar scientists checked old star maps. They still showed Eden 4. But new maps. Blank. As if Earth had reached into memory itself and pulled the name away. Back on a hidden human station, a team watched silently. No celebration. No hate. Just focus. One of them, a calm woman with silver eyes, whispered to her AI assistant. Phase 1 complete. Begin Phase 2. The AI replied softly, Yes, Director. Target grid aligned. They're watching now. Meanwhile, in a distant system, a young alien child looked up at the stars with her father. Papa, why don't the ships fly near those stars anymore? The father didn't answer right away. He just held her close and whispered, because something woke up. Zelfar Prime, the heart of the Empire, woke up to a strange sight. From orbit, everything looked normal. But on the surface, something was wrong. Half the cities were dark. No lights, no movement, no smoke, no power. Gone. Not attacked. Not destroyed. Just missing. Entire cities erased overnight. The High Council rushed into emergency meeting. Satellite images showed blank land where great towers once stood. Green grass where roads had been. No signs of war. No rubble. Just silence. One general screamed, Where are the bodies? Where are the defenses? Who did this? No one answered. Back in orbit, a scout ship flew low over one of the vanished zones. They sent drones. The drones disappeared. No fire. No explosion. Just blink, gone. The ship turned back. The crew looked terrified. One whispered, "This is not war. This is a message." On the far edge of space, a hidden human base received a signal. A voice, calm and cold. "Phase 2 complete. Civilian centers disabled. Any survivors?" asked the human commander. "Negative," replied the AI. "All safely extracted before action. No civilian loss." The humans had moved faster than anyone thought possible. They didn't want revenge. They wanted control. In the galaxy's major markets, traders refused to even say the word Earth. They used code names like Silent Sky, Ghost Flame, or the Black Star. One alien historian tried to speak publicly about what Earth was doing. The next day, his archive vanished. Not destroyed, forgotten. The files disappeared. Backups gone. Even people who had read them could no longer remember what they said. He sat in silence, confused, holding a note in his hand that simply read, "This is what forgetting feels like." Back in the Zelfar Empire, things grew worse. Factories stopped working. Weapons failed mid-battle. Command ships locked their own doors and refused to open. AI cores turned to black screens, one by one. No hacks. No trace. It was as if the machines feared Earth too. In a small science lab, a Zelfar technician tried something risky. He sent out an open message to human space. "Why are you doing this? What do you want?" For hours there was no reply. Then his console flickered. A soft voice, human, young, almost gentle, spoke. "You woke us up. Now, we're awake." And then the power went out. His lab, his entire building, was gone the next morning. Only the floor remained. Like something had erased everything else with a giant brush. The Zelfar military finally tried to strike back. They gathered a massive fleet, over 500 warships. Their plan, launch a full assault on Earth. They never made it. As the fleet reached the edge of human space, a strange darkness spread across the stars. No black holes. No nebula. Just darkness. Then, one by one, their ships stopped sending signals. One pilot survived. He drifted in an escape pod for days before a neutral species picked him up. He was blind, his mind broken. He kept repeating the same sentence. They were already there. They were already there. Back on Earth, a single human broadcast was sent into the galaxy. Not a warning. Not a threat. Just a message. Do not speak our name. Do not come near our skies, and never, ever forget why we were silent. The message was short, but the meaning was clear. The Zelfar had made a mistake. They had thought silence meant weakness, but Earth's silence had been a warning. And now the burning had begun. Without fire. Without sound. Without mercy. They thought capturing a human would give them answers. They were wrong. Deep inside a Zelfar prison facility, one hidden far from battle zones, they finally got what they wanted. A human alive. He had no armor, no weapons, no fear. Just calm eyes and silence. The guards chained him. Scientists waited. Interrogators prepared their machines. Still he said nothing. They tried questions, threats, pain. Nothing worked. Then one scientist had an idea. Let's read his mind. The humans block signals, but we'll bypass that. They connected him to the MindNet, a neural reader designed to pull thoughts and memories from any being. It had worked on every species. Until now. The moment the machine touched the human's mind, the lights flickered. Sparks flew. Systems glitched. Screens turned black. And then something terrifying happened. The human smiled. The guards backed away. The scientists froze. The main screen lit up, but not with data. With words. Not his words, the human AIs. You looked where you should not have. Then screaming, not from the human, but from the scientists. Their minds were being torn apart. They clutched their heads, blood from their ears. Memories vanished from their brains like pages burning in a fire. Within seconds, the entire facility went dark. When a rescue team arrived hours later, they found one thing. Nothing. No walls, no people. Not even the building remained. Just the human standing alone in a field of dust. He turned, nodded once, and vanished. Back in Zelfar Command, news spread fast. But they couldn't hide the truth anymore. Earth had something more than ships. More than weapons. They had minds that broke machines. Across the galaxy, security systems failed one after another. Bank vaults opened for no reason. Ships turned off mid-flight. AI networks turned to static. Not because of a virus, because something was watching. Something smarter. The Trelkin people, a race known for their strong mental powers, tried to reach out to Earth through psychic links. They regretted it. One of their elders fell into a coma during the attempt. His last words were, "It's not one mind. It's millions. All focused. All waiting." Then Earth made its first move in the open. One man, one ship. He entered Zelfar space alone. He walked into a Senate chamber without weapons, guards, or fear. Zelfar leaders stared at him in shock. One asked, "Who are you?" The man looked around and replied calmly, "I am no one, but we are awake, and we are not going back to sleep." Then he left. No one stopped him. Because no one could. Ships outside the building had powered down. The sky above was black. Satellites showed strange patterns in the stars, shifting like eyes watching from the dark. That same night, every Zelfar database experienced a flash event. Files on humans were wiped. Maps showing Earth, gone. Even officers' memories began to fade. "What planet were we fighting?" someone asked. I don't remember," another replied. Back on Earth, in a hidden control room beneath an ocean, a woman looked at the screen. She was the mind architect, one of Earth's secret leaders. She turned to her team and said, "They tried to see inside us. Now they see nothing." The AI next to her spoke. "Memory interference at 62% complete. Soon they won't even remember starting this war." She nodded. "Good. They don't deserve even the memory." Across the stars, a silence deeper than ever before settled in. But now, it wasn't Earth that was silent. It was the Zelfar. They'd stopped sending messages. They stopped launching ships. They'd stopped everything. Because they knew the next step wasn't war. It was erasure. They tried to run. They tried to hide. But nothing could escape the erasure. It began with Zelfar Colony 7, a mining world with 5 million workers. One night, the sky turned gray. The stars above twisted, like something was pulling at space itself. The next morning, Colony 7 was gone. No fire. No explosion. Just empty space where a planet used to be. No signals. No memories. Even the families of those who lived there forgot. "Didn't you have a brother on Colony 7? One man asked his friend. "Colony what?" The friend replied, confused. The erasure protocol had started. And it didn't stop. Every planet that took part in the attack on Earth disappeared. One by one. Not just physically, but from history. Records vanished. Names faded. Entire bloodlines erased from memory. It was like they never existed. The galaxy panicked. The trade guilds issued a rare red-level alert. Do not enter human space. Do not speak their name. Even maps changed. Sectors near Earth began showing blank regions, labeled only with one word. Forgotten. The Zelfar Senate collapsed. No one wanted to lead anymore. Because leadership meant being seen. And being seen by humans meant being next. Back in a hidden Earth command ship, orbiting a dead moon, the mind architect watched the stars. Behind her, a silent group of tacticians stood in a circle. They weren't soldiers. They were thinkers, planners. Zelfar's final fleet is in retreat, one whispered. What remains of it, said another. The architect nodded. She raised her hand. A hologram appeared. Hundreds of red dots across the galaxy. Begin Phase 3, she said softly. Erase the name. And with those words, the Zelfar Dominion began to vanish. Not just the people. Not just the planets. The name itself. Within hours, communication records auto-deleted any mention of Zelfar. Galactic news feeds glitched. Old speeches erased themselves. Even enemies of the Zelfar couldn't remember who they had once feared. It was as if the name had never been spoken. In one corner of the galaxy, a lone scholar noticed the change. He stared at a blank space in his database. That can't be right, he whispered. There was someone there. He searched and searched. But there was nothing. Only an echo. A whisper. This is what forgetting feels like. The humans had done what no empire had ever done. They didn't destroy the enemy. They unmade them. No graves, no ruins, no memories, just silence and fear. Even among the other great powers, those who had once mocked Earth now held secret meetings in the shadows. They are watching, whispered a counselor from the Glutheri Empire. Have we angered them too? Asked another. The oldest among them, a gray-skinned being with 1,000 years of memory, replied. Not yet, but we must never give them reason. Back on Earth, the architect stood by a window in the command chamber. She looked down at her planet, peaceful, bright, alive. Behind her, the AI spoke. Mission complete. The name has been removed from the Galactic Core archives, forever. She closed her eyes. Good. Then turned away. Because the humans hadn't done this for revenge. Not for power. But for one reason only. To send a message. We wanted peace, she whispered. They gave us war. So we gave them silence. Years passed. But the fear never left. Across the galaxy, children were taught many things, but not the name of Earth. It was missing from books. Missing from star maps. Missing from memory. And still, no one dared ask why. One young diplomat from a distant world asked his teacher, Where is the planet between the black zones? The teacher paused, looked around carefully, and replied, We don't speak of that place. But why? Because once, someone did, and they never spoke again. In the shadows of space, the humans watched. They had not sent ships in years. No wars. No messages. Nothing. But everyone remembered the silence, and everyone feared what it meant. The greatest empires now avoided human space entirely. Even pirates turned their ships around at the border of the Forgotten Zones, because they knew what had happened to the Zelfar. Or rather, what hadn't happened. Because no one could prove anything. There were no records, no evidence, only stories, whispers in the dark, legends, a race that erased an empire, a people that made memory itself obey them, the ones who punished not with fire, but with silence. And through it all, Earth remained quiet, peaceful, beautiful, but always watching. In the Galactic Council, a vote was called to explore the old regions near human territory. The vote failed. Every single leader said the same thing. We will not wake the silence again. Back on Earth, in a quiet garden, the mind architect walked among trees. No guards, no cameras, no fear. Because Earth no longer needed threats. Their silence was enough. A young student approached her, one of the new generation. Is it true, he asked, that we erased an empire? She smiled gently. We erased only what had to be forgotten. But why not conquer them? Because true power is not in control, she said. It is in memory. The boy looked confused. She leaned down and whispered, "If they remember us with fear, they will never cross us again. And if they forget us entirely, they will never know where to find us." That was Earth's final lesson. Not destruction, not war, but erasure. Because once you are forgotten, you are safe. But once you are remembered, you must be feared. Far beyond Earth, on a quiet planet, a traveler arrived, an old being lined in one eye, with scars across his face. He went to a tavern, sat down, and spoke softly. I was there. Before the silence, everyone froze. Before the name was gone. Before the stars turned black. I remember Earth. Someone at the back of the room whispered, "Don't say it." The old man smiled sadly. "They tried to take our world. We only took one thing in return." What? Asked a young listener. Their place in the galaxy. Then he raised his drink, whispered the old name one last time, and the lights in the tavern flickered. The stars above shifted, and the old man vanished. Back on Earth, the architect stood in the rain. She looked up at the stars, and for the first time in years, she smiled. Let the galaxy forget. Let them fear silence. We are the reason they look over their shoulder. We are the reason they speak in whispers. We are the silence that remembers everything. Because once, they enraged the humans, and now, their name has been erased. Forever.